This content is produced by Darknetbreaker, a cybersecurity and dark web education brand. All videos, posts, and content are strictly for educational and awareness purposes only. We do not promote, support, or encourage any illegal activity. Our mission is to expose digital threats, protect online users, and educate the public about cybersecurity risks in the modern world. Stay ethical. Stay protected.
Over 80% of all modern data breaches, from major enterprise networks to personal accounts, begin with a compromised password. This chart shows the volume of historical data breaches, and the massive spike in 2025 represents the credential crisis. Attackers used malware to harvest over 16 billion records directly from user devices. Organizations spend millions of dollars on firewalls and threat detection, while leaving their most sensitive infrastructure protected by a single vulnerable string of text. To defend a network, we must systematically map the mechanical pathways attackers use to achieve entry. In a modern, industrialized cyber warfare landscape, the password has become the primary high-value target for exploitation. Volume attacks are brute force operations. Attackers use modern graphics processing units to test billions of combinations per second, fueled by massive datasets like the RockU 2024 leak. When raw computation fails, they employ dictionary and hybrid attacks. These exploit predictable human habits by testing common words and simple character substitutions, like swapping an A for an @ symbol. This screenshot shows an open-source repository where attackers download massive pre-compiled dictionaries. You can see the Oxford Uni word lists and the Argonne word lists near the top. Lower down, the open-wall word lists categorize targets by surnames and industry jargon, allowing algorithms to target specific demographics. Human predictability combined with relentless machine speed means that traditional complexity requirements provide almost no mathematical resistance against volume attacks. This flowchart visualizes credential stuffing. When attackers acquire a leaked username and password pair from a past breach, they use bots to automatically inject those credentials into dozens of other platform login screens. This exploits the widespread habit of reusing credentials across personal and enterprise accounts, a method that led to major account takeovers at companies like Netflix and Spotify. Password spraying uses a different logic. Attackers test a single, highly common password against thousands of different user accounts simultaneously. This method is designed to bypass standard network defenses like rate limiting and account lockouts. State-sponsored hackers used this technique in 2024 to infiltrate Microsoft's corporate email systems. Attackers also use man-in-the-middle techniques, capturing credentials as they travel over unencrypted network connections, snatching the data before it reaches the intended server. Exploitation attacks render complexity irrelevant because the attacker uses valid, authorized credentials to gain entry. Phishing and keylogging bypass network perimeter security by harvesting credentials directly from the user in real time. In the 2023 NGN Resorts breach, attackers used a single phone phishing call to trick an IT help desk employee, which resulted in a $100 million corporate compromise. On the back end, hackers use a technique called pass the hash. They steal hashed authentication tokens directly from active system memory and use them to move laterally through the network. Attackers also use rainbow table attacks. They build massive, pre-computed lookup tables to reverse engineer entire databases of passwords that lack a random string of data, known as a salt, added before encryption. During the 2012 LinkedIn breach, the failure to salt 117 million SHA-1 hashes allowed attackers to decrypt the stolen data in seconds. Relying on user vigilance or outdated backend cryptography guarantees an eventual systemic failure. While passwords are mathematically and practically vulnerable on their own, securing them is a solvable problem. Defending against volume attacks requires a password manager to generate and store unique random strings of 20 or more characters for every account. To stop exploitation attacks, organizations must continuously monitor the dark web for breach exposure and implement a zero-trust architecture to verify every access request. Defending against human and technical attacks requires mandatory multi-factor authentication across all endpoints. Organizations should prioritize hardware tokens or dedicated authenticator apps over SMS-based text messages, which are vulnerable to interception. Backend systems must migrate to modern memory-hard hashing standards like Argonaut 2 ID. These force a computer to spend significant time and RAM on every guess, neutralizing offline cracking. As we see in this image showing a fingerprint scanner and an eye scan, the end game for security is passwordless authentication. Systems like FIDO2 passkeys and device-bound biometrics remove the credential vector entirely. Attackers bank on organizations taking the path of least resistance. This framework removes the primary attack vector and secures the point of failure.